Speak Now Tarot's version. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Carolyn. Today I have another fun video for you. So if you've been on my channel before, you know that I love to explain tarot using pop culture references. I've used different TV shows and movies, but I've also used Taylor Swift songs to break down the major arcana. And Taylor Swift just released her Speak Now album. And so in my last Taylor Swift video, I took different Taylor Swift songs throughout her discography and I used it to explain the meaning of the major arcana. Well, now that she recently released Speak Now, I decided to take each of the songs and pair that to a tarot card. So we're not going with any major arcana or any suit. We're not going in order of the tarot cards. We're just going with the vibes of the songs and what tarot cards they relate to. And so I find this activity to be really fun because you start to see the tarot card archetypes in everyday life and in different media, and it helps you understand the meanings when if you're doing a reading, sometimes you're not going to remember a card meaning, but you might remember a specific song or a scene from a TV show or a movie that's going to help you connect with it more. So I find this type of interpretation with the cards just makes it a little bit more relatable. And so if you love tarot, you love Taylor Swift, definitely subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this family. So I'm just going to go in order as they appear in the album. So first we have the song Mine. And Mine is all about choices, just like the Seven of Cups. In this song, we see that there's a lot of choices that lead up to this relationship and the success of it. Because we see the main character grew up in a home in which her example of a relationship was not happy or healthy. And her dad was constantly making the wrong choices. And so she grows up expecting people to make the wrong choice, and so she doesn't have any expectations when it comes to love. But then she ends up meeting this guy and she makes the choice to let him in instead of having her guards up like she typically does, and she ends up falling in love with him. And as the song progresses, we see that they make the choice to allow this relationship to grow, that they start to be more vulnerable with one another, and their relationship really becomes a lot more serious. And we see that this builds up to one night when they have this really massive fight. She makes the choice to run out expecting him to make the same wrong choice like her father, but he doesn't. Instead, he chooses her. He runs out after her, and he explains how he's always going to choose her. And at the end of the song, it says, "Do you believe it? We're gonna make it now and I can see it." And so we see she's learned that people make choices, and through these choices, you can make things successful. And so because they're both going to choose each other, they're going to choose the relationship. Their relationship does not have to be like her parents' was. And so we understand this sense of choice, and that's what the Seven of Cups represents in tarot. The Fool has the choice on what decision they get to make. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. They don't always make the right choice, but they have a sense of control because they are the one making those choices. And if they do make the wrong choice, there's going to be future choices that allow them to correct it. So then we have Sparks Fly. And in this song, we see that the main character is being a bit reckless when it comes to being infatuated with a guy that is really no good for her. She's self-aware to know that this isn't the wisest decision, but she's being reckless enough where she doesn't care. And that's because she's focused on the present moment. She's not focused on the future. She knows that this guy won't ever be what she wants him to be, but she doesn't care because just for the moment it feels good. And that's what the Devil card embodies in tarot. It represents our inner desires, temptation, and an intense attraction. And that's what we see in the song. The Devil card is depicted with people and chains around him, but if we look closely at them, we see that the chains are not on them tightly. They have the ability to take them off, but they don't. And just like the character in the song, she stays because despite their knowledge that this isn't good, at one point they believed in this devil figure. At one point he was able to charm them, and so they believed in him, because a devil by nature is manipulative because he's charming. He's not this obvious ominous energy of evil. He is charismatic because that's how he gets people to believe in him. And so they're focused on the present, on their inner desires, on their temptations, that they are not realizing to take their chains off because they don't see the problem. They don't see the big picture. And that's what we see in the song. She's focused on the present. She's not focused on the future. And so she's willing to disregard her gut instincts because it's what she wants in the moment. And that's what we see when the Devil card appears in readings. It's representing that someone's focused on the present and they're focused on the short term and what they want and that inner desire, that inner selfishness. So then we head back to December. And in this song, the main character is trying to navigate a tricky situation. She knows she messed up and hurt the person she loves by rejecting their love. She was not the girlfriend that they needed, and she ended up really hurting them. And now she's looking back at the situation. She has a lot of regret, a lot of remorse, because she knows she she messed up. She already feels guilty about this. And so the purpose of this song is an apology to this person. She's trying to take accountability. She's trying to own the fact of what she did, and she's trying to navigate it in a way where she can try and make this all right. She can try and make it a little bit better. Even though she knows that might not be something she can do, she's trying her best. And so this represents the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is typically depicted with someone juggling on the card. And that's what the main character is trying to do in this song. She's trying to juggle the situation to decide what she should do, if she should even reach out, or that will make things worse. And so when the Two of Pentacles appears, it represents trying to find balance within a situation, trying to navigate it as best as you can so that you don't mess up. Now in this situation, she has already messed up, so she's trying to find the best way to pick up the pieces and begin to juggle again, try and navigate it as best as she can while accepting the fact that she can't go back and change anything. And in the song, we see that she does express a desire to get back together with this person because she still loves them, but she's realistic to know that that isn't likely. And so she has balanced her expectations. And so the Two of Pentacles represents an energy in which you're trying to navigate it, you're trying to juggle it, but you're also being realistic with your expectations because you've just recently begun this journey of the Pentacle suit. And so you're trying to find your footing with it. But the Two of Pentacles is trying their best to be successful. And we see that conveyed throughout the song. She's trying her best to fix things. Even though it might not be possible, this is her extending that olive branch and doing what she is able to. She can't control this other person, but she can at least own the fact that she messed up and apologize to them. So now we have the song Speak Now, the title album. I love this song so much. And I think this represents the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is someone who will go for what they want, and they will wear their heart on their sleeve. They're not afraid to risk themselves or risk rejection for going after what they want. When it comes to romance, they can be very persistent and overly optimistic because by nature, the cup suit is a romantic. And that's what the Knight of Cups is. It represents someone who is a romantic, who's going to go for what they want because the Knight by nature is willing to fight for what they want. And they're going to do so in a very resilient way. And we see this in the song Speak Now because the main character is quite literally going to interrupt her ex's wedding and tell him how she feels about him. And so this is something that is very controversial. This is something that not everyone would be able to do because it's risky. You know, you could be rejected. But in the song, she's willing to face that rejection just so that he doesn't make a mistake. And so she's going and laying all her cards on the table. And fortunately for her, he feels the same way and they're able to run off together. So she gets what she wants. And that's the thing about the Knight of Cups. They're going to risk rejection because when they are successful, it pays off. And so that's something to know about the Knight of Cups energy. They're very optimistic. They're going to believe they're going to get what they want and they're going to do whatever it takes, no matter how much effort is required, no matter how long it takes. Until they are actually rejected, they're going to keep trying and trying and trying because they're optimistic by nature. If something doesn't work, they're going to try again because they just have that inner resilience. So next we have the song Dear John. And in this song, we see the main character is reflecting on a relationship and she's realizing that this relationship was not healthy. It was not one that was full of love, but it was actually full of pain. And through this reflection, she's realizing so many things that were wrong with this relationship. And she's kind of using this song as a way to address her ex and show him how everything he did added up to her needing to leave him because this was not a healthy relationship. And so this song acts as a piece of closure for her and this relationship. And so it brings an end to this cycle. And a similar card in tarot to this is the World card because this card quite literally represents endings. In the World card, the Fool has completed their Fool's journey. So there's an end to the previous cycle that they were a part of and they have learned the lessons, they have taken that wisdom and they will carry that onto their next journey. And we see a similar concept in this song. In a sense, the main character has finished this journey. She has learned what she needed to, she understood the lessons, and now that she has ended this cycle, she is reflecting on it and understanding it. And that's what the Fool does with the wisdom that they gain. The wisdom that's learned through these life experiences is what the World card is all about. And she has gained a lot of insight from this relationship because just like the Fool, she started out naive and she mistook this person's manipulation for love. And now she understands that it is manipulation. She's self-aware enough to understand it, see the signs, and instead of staying in this relationship when it wasn't good for her, she put an end to it like the World card. And so this song acts as a final goodbye so that she can start her new cycle and move on from this. Like the Fool will end their cycle of that Fool's journey and begin a new one with the new wisdom. So then we have the song Mean, and I think the main character in this song embodies the energy of the Page of Swords. And the reason that I say that is because the Page of Swords represents someone who's very self-assured on their goals. They have a really good sense of identity because out of all the pages, they are the sword suit, and swords represents mind and the intellect. And so so there's a better sense of identity that they have than the other pages in the tarot deck. Now keep in mind, they are still a page, so they do not have all the wisdom that they need. But the thing about the Page of Swords is that they are open to learning, they're open to growing. And that's something that the main character realizes very quickly that this other person's not willing to do. The page knows that they don't know what they don't know. And so they're open to learning. They want to absorb all the information they can like a sponge. And that's why I think they represent the energy of the main character, because the main character is looking at this person who's belittling them, who's tearing them down in order to build themselves up bigger. And this person's telling them that they're not going to amount to their dreams, but the Page of Swords knows that's simply not true, because they're going to keep learning, they're going to keep growing and putting in the effort until they succeed. So they have enough sense of faith and belief in themselves to know they're going to be successful one day. And so it doesn't matter what this person is telling them, they're not going to believe it because their sense of identity is so strong. And we see the lyrics of the song that this main character does not believe that this person is correct. They know someday they're going to achieve their goal, and all this person's going to be is mean. And so they call this person out for their train of thought and their belief system, and that's something the Page of Swords is going to do. They don't care if they're disliked by people because they have such a good identity of who they are that they only care about their opinion and who they actually are. And so the Page of Swords can be very witty, and they can also be very blunt and harsh. And so when someone is putting them down, they're going to call them out for that. And we see that through the song. The main character is saying, hey, all you are is mean, and backing that up with their actions, showing them how they are truly this person. And so they're not saying anything that's not true. So therefore, as the Page of Swords energy, they don't care if it hurts this person's feeling because they're only saying the truth. They're someone who's very blunt and very honest. And so the main character is this Page of Swords energy because they have this security of who they are, but they also have this protection of themselves where they're going to defend themselves against people. They're not going to let people talk down to them, but they're also not going to sink to this person's level. So then we have the song The Story of Us. And this reminds me of the Four of Cups, because in the Four of Cups you have the Fool, and they're so focused on what they're lacking, of what their current situation is, how bad it is, they don't see that a solution is being offered to them. And that's exactly what's happening in The Story of Us. We have the main character singing about how her relationship is not going how she wants it to go. It seems like this is going to be the end for them. And they're both in this room together. It's awkward for both of them. And she wishes that they would make a move in order for them to amend things because she doesn't want this to be the end. But she's not willing to go and make that move. And so in the song, we see a solution is available the entire time, but she's too stubborn and prideful to accept it. She is not willing to make that first move. She's waiting on her ex to do it, and therefore no one ever does. And we also have a glimpse of his perspective in the song where she says so many things that you wish I knew. So this implies too that the ex is waiting for her to make a move as well. So it shows that both of them are in this Four of Cups energy where they're focused on what they're lacking, on the fact that the relationship has ended on bad terms, and instead of reconciling this and making amends with one another, they're both sitting waiting for the other person to make a move. And so just like the Fool is sitting there waiting for a solution to appear, there's one that's quite literally there, but he does not turn and look at it. So this entire time, a solution has been available to both the main character and the ex, and neither of them use it because they are waiting on the other one. And so that's the thing about the Four of Cups. You'll be waiting forever. You'll be waiting in limbo. You'll never get what you want if you don't look for your solution and act on it. They could have gotten exactly what they wanted. They could have reconciled, worked out this issue. But instead, we see when the song ends, it's kind of the end for them as well. And we see through the lyrics of the song that she's regretting letting this go. This is not something that she wants, but she's so focused on the fact she's losing the relationship that she can't see that she has the ability to save it. So then we have the song Never Grow Up. And in this song, the main character is encouraging the viewer not to grow up because things were simpler then. Life got complicated as they grew up, and they're looking back at things and regretting how fast they wanted to grow up, because that's something that's very common. When we're young, we want to grow up, and then once we grow up, we want to be young again. And that nostalgia is something that we see in the Six of Cups as well. The Six of Cups acts as a reminder to the fondness of that time and the memories that we created then, and it reminds us to tap back into that period of joy for ourselves and make memories in the present moment as well. And we see that in the song, the main character is wanting to go back, but they're not able to, and they're also reminding the people who have the present opportunity to make memories with their loved ones. Don't push your loved ones away because they're growing up too. You don't know how much time you have left. And so both the song and the card act as a reminder of those younger times when things were easier, when they were happier, when they were more carefree. And it also serves as a reminder to be grounded in the present, to make those memories, to tap into that feeling of joy and happiness as much as you can and don't lose it once you have it. And so in a sense, the song carries the same purpose as the card, and they both carry this energy of nostalgia for the past. And then we have Enchanted, and Enchanted is quite literally the Page of Cups embodied. We have this hopeless romantic feelings of being smitten and the beginning stages of a crush, and just this overwhelming like sense of joy and happiness and just like love that the Page of Cups embodies as well. There's someone where they wear their heart on their sleeve, and we see this in the song Enchanted. Here we have the main character expressing her feelings after meeting this person for one night, and she's just so smitten with this person that's like she can't contain her feelings, and she writes this song to express them. And in the song she's being very vulnerable, she's expressing her feelings, she's quite literally exposing her heart and wearing it on her sleeve. And so just like this carefreeness and infatuation that comes with the beginning stages of a crush is entirely what the Page of Cups is. And so this feeling of being enchanted with someone is what the Page of Cups is going to feel, because they're a hopeless romantic by nature, they're a dreamer, they're an optimist. And so by nature it makes it very easy for them to fall for people, because not only do they wear their heart on their sleeve, but they have this dream-like fantasy view of life that makes it where they're able to fall for people quickly. And so just like we see the main character in the song Enchanted, she spends one evening with this person and already is thinking about their potential future together and what it means for them and if there is a path forward for them. And so the Page of Cups is someone who can be hurt quite easily because they are so vulnerable with their emotions, and because they are this dreamer, they tend to fall for people quickly. That doesn't always guarantee that someone else is going to fall for them in return. And we see that for the main character as well. She's already expressing concerns about what if they're not into her, what if they have someone else. And so there is this doubt that creeps up in the dreamer's mind of the Page of Cups, but because they are optimistic and such a hopeless romantic, they try and overlook it. And we see that with the rest of the song, and the lyrics that play out is that she's still like so enchanted, she's hoping that that's not true, she's hoping that it works out for them. And so there is this innocent, genuine emotion that the Page of Cups has that's conveyed very well in this song. And then the next song is Better Than Revenge, and in this, main character is embodying the energy of the Queen of Wands. And the reason I say this is because the Queen of Wands is someone who's very confident, they're very passionate, determined, and powerful. They can be a little bit intimidating, but they also have a charismatic approach to them that makes it very easy for them to persuade others. Another thing to note about the Queen of Wands is that they can be insecure. Even though they hide this and they mask it with their confidence, they can be insecure, and when these moments arise for them, it causes them to act impulsively and act harshly. And we see this with the main character. She feels betrayed because her ex cheated on her. She's very hurt by this, and so she tries to protect herself in the only way she can. And so we see that she calls this girl out, and through the lyrics we see that she kind of implies that she can make it where people are not on this other girl's side. And this is possible because when she's embodying the Queen of Wands energy, she's going to have that charismatic ability. And we see by the main character protecting herself, she is embodying the Queen of Wands energy, because the Queen of Wands, when they feel threatened, they're going to fight for themselves, they're going to protect themselves, they don't back down, they are very passionate. And when it comes to protecting themselves, especially in an area which they might be insecure about, they're going to be extremely intense. And we see this with the main character. She's acting very bold, she's trying to reclaim her power in the only way that she knows how. And then we have the song Innocent, and in this song the main character is addressing someone who's messed up. She's telling them that even though they messed up, she's admitting that they messed up, that there's a path forward, there's a way to make it right, there's a way to move on from it, where this moment does not have to define them. And in a sense, the main character is acting like the star in tarot, because the star represents hope, it represents a path forward, it represents a glimpse of light in the darkness that leads the fool away from the tower, away from their mess, and back on track with their path. And so it kind of acts as a fool's navigation to get back on track for what's meant for them. And that's what the main character is doing in the song. The lyrics convey this sense of, okay, yes, you messed up, this is what went wrong, like we know this, we accept it, we take accountability, but just because all that happened, don't think that you can't find a way to fix it. Don't think that this has to define you and that you can't accomplish anything else. And so her message is meant to be hopeful and uplifting to this person who's in a moment of crisis, because she believes that they're still innocent. So then we have the song Haunted, and Haunted reminds me of the Seven of Swords, because in the Seven of Swords, the fool has been betrayed by people that are close to them. They've been wronged and they don't fully understand why. There's not a lot of clarity for the fool in regards to what happened. A line has been crossed and there's little that they can do to fix this. And so this makes it where the fool has to kind of question everything but move on without really getting a resolution to this. And we see this in the song Haunted because there's been a shift between the main character and their love, and something has gone wrong and she doesn't fully understand what. She's She's beginning to see that what she thought she knew wasn't true at all. She wants to fix things. She wants to go back to how things were, but that's not possible because the person that she thought she knew is not acting anything like who she knew. And so this person has switched up on her and blindsided her, leaving her very confused, like the fool feels confused. There's a disbelief when this happens for the main character and for the fool because there's not an understanding of what happened, or what mistake was made, or what caused the shift. All of a sudden, you're blindsided and betrayed by those that were extremely close to you, and it leaves you with a lot of questions, a lot of doubt, and no answers, no closure, besides just moving on with your life, because there's nothing that they can do. They can't get answers from these people because they're not willing to talk to them. And so we see the main character come to this conclusion in the end of the song. It says, "You and I walked a fragile line, and I never thought I'd see it break. Never thought I'd see it." She's in disbelief over this situation, and that's something that's common in the Seven of Swords because this is such a big betrayal. It's hard for the fool to even comprehend it, to process it. It makes them question everything because nothing is what you once thought it was. So then we have Last Kiss, and this song is about heartbreak and grief. And in this song, we see the main character grieving her relationship that ended. She's trying to process it, but it's painful. She's still in love with her ex, and the Three of Swords depicts this pain because it's literally represented by a heart that's being stabbed. The main character doesn't want to accept this, but she doesn't really have a choice. And the Three of Swords also represents this because when it appears in a reading, it represents a level of healing that needs to take place. It represents healing that can only be accomplished through this grief, through processing this pain, because there's nothing you can do to stop it. And so all the fool can do in the Three of Swords is like what the main character can do in the song, which is to sit with your feelings and to process it. So then we have the song Long Live, and this is represented by the Ten of Pentacles. And the reason for that, the Ten of Pentacles is when the fool has completed the pentacle suit, and they started with this one pentacle, and they were able to build it up and grow it and manifest it into the Ten of Pentacles. Despite whatever obstacles they faced, despite all the hard work and the effort that was required of them, they have grown as a person, and now they are benefiting and receiving those rewards. And with the Ten of Pentacles, this reward for the fool does not just affect them, but it affects other people around them and potential generations for them as well. And this is something that's similar to in Long Live. We see that despite the odds, the main character has been able to break down barriers and change things for the better. And they didn't do it alone. They had the help of this person who they eventually caught feelings for. And so their love interest in this song, they have built this legacy together, not only for themselves, but for their community, for their town, as it says in the song. And so there's a lot of long-term benefits for them changing things because it not only affected them, but it affected the other people around them. And so there's this pride and happiness and joy that they feel for what they have accomplished, that the same is felt for the fool when he receives the Ten of Pentacles. There's this happiness and pride that you feel with everything that you have accomplished to get to the end result. And in the Ten of Pentacles, the fool has made a name for themselves. They made themselves known. And we see that for the main characters in the song as well. Everyone recognizes them. People know what they did. And that's something else that they can be proud of, is that they made something of themselves. And that's why this song embodies the energy of the Ten of Pentacles, because there is that recognition, but it's benefiting everyone. This wasn't something that they did selfishly. It was something that was selfless, that in turn has helped everyone. And we see this selflessness in the main character as well when it comes to her long-term future with this love interest. She's optimistic that things will work out for them and they'll stay together forever. But in the off chance they don't, all that she asks is that she's not erased from this legacy, that her role is remembered. All she wants is to be recognized for her accomplishments. And so that's where there's this big energy of legacy and this ripple effect and wanting to be known, just like we see in the Ten of Pentacles. So then we have the song Ours. And in this song, we see a lot of resistance and hesitation and questions and judgments about the main character and their relationship. People don't really understand it, and people are not as happy for her as she would like them to be. And in the song, the main character expresses that it feels like them against the world. She's defending her relationship. She's expressing how her and her partner are going to choose one another, and she chooses them. And in return, it doesn't matter what anyone else says or what they think, because they don't know the truth of their relationship. They don't know what's actually going on behind closed doors. And so in this song, she's expressing her desire to protect the relationship and defend the relationship against others despite what they are doing. And this embodies the Seven of Wands energy, because in the Seven of Wands, the fool has to protect themselves, because there's obstacles and people who are trying to get in the way of what they have. Because in the Six of Wands, the Fool has achieved a great success, but with this success has come recognition, and not everyone is happy for the Fool. And so because of that, the Fool now has to defend what they have and protect it against others. And so they're not willing to talk things out because they're in defense mode. They're trying to protect themselves and what they have. And that's similar to the main character as well. She's trying to defend the relationship. So it doesn't matter if there's any merit or truth to what people are saying, because right now she's not going to be willing to listen to any of it, because she's just trying to protect what she has, because she has faced so much judgment. And so both the card and the song serve as a reminder that when people have been faced with a lot of obstacles, sometimes they're unwilling to listen to things, even if there's reasoning or truth or logic behind it, because they're emotionally not in the place where they can hear it, because they have to be so guarded. And so in this song, not only is she defending the relationship, but she's expressing to her love that she's willing to fight for this relationship. So next we have the song Superman, and this is a song that's all about unrequited love, but it's not unrequited because he rejected her. The love interest in this song simply does not know that the main character has feelings for him. She calls him Superman, and basically because he's taking care of everyone else, he doesn't have time for her, and so she hasn't expressed her feelings to him. And so in the song, we see that the main character has these deep feelings for this man, but she never expresses it to him, so he doesn't know about it. And that made me think of the Moon card in tarot, because the Moon card in tarot represents our emotions, but it also represents the mystery and the unknown, and it also represents our fears. And that's everything that's going on in the song. To me, it seems like one of the biggest reasons she hasn't expressed her feelings to him is because there is some fear about him not being able to make time for her. And so because of her fears, it's preventing her from getting what she wants. And that's what happens with the Moon card for the Fool. It keeps them trapped in this limbo type phase in which they know what their path is, but they're too afraid to proceed forward. And so it can delay them on their journey. And because she hasn't expressed her feelings, their relationship lies in the unknown, because there's no chance of rejection when you don't tell someone how you feel. And so that's something else that the Fool experiences with the Moon card. There's a sense of mystery of not knowing exactly where they're at, because it's dark, because it's night, because they don't have all their resources. And so in a sense, that unknown aspect is taking place here as well. And the Moon represents our subconscious. It represents our emotions. And right now, the main character is stuck in her emotions and her feelings, but she's also stuck in her head. And she's too in her thoughts, thinking about the practicality of things, instead of taking a chance and a risk on love, instead of expressing her feelings to him, instead of feeling them so deeply and being stuck in them and not ever doing anything about it. And so through the lyrics of the song, we get to better understand the main character, but we don't see any progress with the relationship because it simply can't exist when it is unknown. So then we have the song Electric Touch. And in this song, we see both parties who are going on a date together. We see their mindset and their fears, in a sense, that make them unsure if going on this date is the right idea or not. Because both of them have been jaded by love before. They've been let down and disappointed by it. And they see that these relationships never turn into anything long-lasting. But then the optimistic side of them wants them to believe that this could be the one, that this could actually work out and be a healthy, strong relationship that would provide them everything they need. And so it's kind of a case of head versus heart, with their head using the logic of all their previous dates, feeling like this is only going to lead to more rejection and more disappointment, but their heart still being optimistic that it could work out for them. And this same energy can be found in the Two of Swords in tarot, because in this card, the Fool is facing a moment of indecision. They don't know what choice is meant for them to make, and that's because they're struggling with their head versus heart. It's like they have these fears that are making it where they can't make a decision because they don't know what the right decision is. And we see this fear and apprehension within the lyrics of the song. Neither party knows what the right choice is, and this song kind of exists in a limbo with no real closure or ending. The ending of the song talks about seeing the headlights of the car, so we know they're going on the date, but we don't know what any inner resolution for their inner turmoil is. And that's something with the Two of Swords. This is not a card that is deciding anything. This is a card that's representing a feeling of being stuck, of being in limbo, of not being able to make a decision, of not knowing what decision to make. And that's the same type of feeling that's expressed within the song, all that apprehension, all that doubt, all the unknown, where you don't know what is truly best for you. And then we have When Emma Falls in Love. And this song is talking about a girl named Emma, but she's not actually the main character. When you look at the song a little bit deeper, this song is actually about someone who wishes that they could be like Emma. All the qualities that she embodies in the life that she's living, this person wants, but yet they feel they're unable to get it for themselves. It's not something that they can achieve. And so that made me think that this person feels more like the Eight of Swords energy, because the Eight of Swords in tarot represents someone who is feeling stuck, feeling trapped. In the image, the Fool is depicted to have a blindfold on them, but the Fool's able to take that blindfold off. They just don't realize it. So yes, they are stuck, but they have the ability to unstick themselves. They have the ability to free themselves. They just don't see it yet. And so the Eight of Swords represents a mental trap, because the Fool has the ability to free themselves, but because their mindset doesn't see that, they don't know that that is an option. And that's something that I think the main character is dealing with in this song that we're seeing through the lyrics. She wishes she could be Emma and have a life similar to her, and she compares herself to Emma and kind of puts herself down while putting Emma on a pedestal, because she feels like that's who she should be and she's not, and so she's upset with herself. But the thing is, there's nothing that's preventing the main character from acting like Emma. Their timelines for goals and life events might be different, but she could still live life the way Emma does, and therefore manifest her own timeline in the same confident way that Emma does. The qualities of Emma that she wishes she had, she's able to achieve for herself. She just doesn't think she is yet. So it's a mental block that's holding her back from living her life like Emma and embodying that same confident energy. And that's why I think she is representing this Eight of Swords energy, because she's mentally trapped, even though there's nothing that's actually preventing her from going out and acting more confident and channeling Emma's energy. So then we have the song I Can See You, and I think this perfectly represents the energy of the High Priestess, because the High Priestess is that divine feminine energy. She's very powerful, she's very mysterious and alluring, and that's what the main character embodies. The High Priestess knows the truth of the unknown. She sees what others do not see, and so she is the lock and she is also the key. And in this song, the main character knows what this guy wants, and she's willing to play that game, and she senses things and knows what's going to happen before they do, because in her mind she's able to read the situation, she's able to understand it and see how it's going to play out. And she also isn't opposed to keeping secrets, because that's what the High Priestess deals with. The High Priestess is mystery, and so she's willing to keep this a secret in the song because she's representing that energy of the High Priestess. And so in the song, the main character embodies this energy of this very alluring woman who is able to read a situation, understand it. And so I think that's why she embodies the energy of the High Priestess, because she represents that exact energy. So then we have the song Castles Crumbling. So during the Fool's journey, when the Fool reaches the Tower card, everything has gone completely wrong for them. They are losing everything that they have built up, and it's crumbling beneath them. And just like in Castles Crumbling, that is what's going on for the main character. She's built this life for herself, and it crumbles around her. Everything that she had is gone. And so there's a lot of loss and confusion going on between the character in the song and the Fool when he reaches the Tower moment. And so for the Fool, this creates a period of frustration and fear, because now they know they have to move forward, but there can be fear when it comes to moving forward, because the Fool is afraid that history is going to repeat itself, that they're going to lose everything again. And so it can make them question what the point of moving forward is. And we see this within the lyrics of the song. We see a little bit of sabotage going on, because she feels like she needs to isolate herself, because she's just going to bring more demise to everyone around her, that she's going to be bad for the people she cares about. And so she doesn't feel like she's worthy of having anyone in her life. And so both the Fool and the main character in the song are struggling with how to recover after making major mistakes that led to a big downfall for you, and how to pick yourself back up and continue on your journey while learning from this, but not letting it define who you are and make you feel like you yourself are a failure. And the lessons can be learned after a time of reflection, but what this song embodies about this Tower moment is the actual moment in which the Fool loses what they had, in which everything crumbles around them, and then they are dealing with how to process that afterwards. So then we have the song Foolish One, and this is a song that is all about our inner thoughts and their influence over us. And so to me, this relates to the Knight of Swords, because the Knight of Swords represents our inner anxieties and our fears. And we see that in the lyrics of this song. There's a lot of fears that she feels about this guy, but she pushes them away because she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. She wants to believe in this relationship, and deep down she knows that she shouldn't. She knows that she is being foolish, but she ignores the negative thoughts because it's not what she wants to be true. And then afterwards, we see the negative self-talk when it comes to her regrets and knowing she should have known better, knowing that she shouldn't have been this foolish. And we see her begin to kind of berate herself for believing in this guy who was really no good for her. And so we see this similarity between the main character in the song and the negative beliefs that they can carry and the way that their inner thoughts can influence their life, whether it's in a good or a bad way. Sometimes that inner monologue can cause issues even if it is saying the right things. It's the way it goes about telling us and our own conversations with ourselves. And we see in the Nine of Swords as well that the Fool struggles with this too. Despite what they're saying, if there's merit to it, there's a struggle with trying to understand what your thoughts are telling you, especially if there's a disconnect between what they're telling you and what you want to be true. Because a fear is a fear regardless of if it's valid or not valid. It just means the way to break them down and approach the solution is going to be slightly different. And so I think this song does a really good job of showing the perspective of what someone could be struggling with in the Nine of Swords. And then we end on the song Timeless. And I truly don't think there's any better card for this than the Lover's card. Because this song is talking about a soulmate type love, of trusting and believing in the fact that they would have found each other regardless of their circumstances in life. And in any lifetime they would have found one another. And the Lover's card in tarot represents a strong love like this. It can be used to represent a soulmate relationship, but it also represents a strong and healthy relationship. The Lover's card also represents choice. The choice for them to choose one another and a choice for them to make this relationship work. And I think that can be shown through the cards as well, that despite the circumstances, they would have chosen one another, because not only would they have found one another, they would have chosen to be together because their love is that strong and their connection is that strong. And so this sense of a strong connected love that is connected through time, connected through fate, connected through destiny is exactly what the Lover's card embodies. So I hope you enjoyed this video of Speak Now Tarot's version. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below what cards you would have linked with each of these songs. I had a lot of fun making this video. I love Taylor Swift and I love tarot, so merging the two together was perfect for me. Let me know if there's any other artists, TV shows or movies, or pop culture references in general that you would love me to explain the tarot cards as, because doing this series is a lot of fun for me because it makes me think about the tarot cards in a little bit of a unique way, and I also feel like it's helpful for other people because, like I said, it makes it a little bit more familiar. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support the channel, definitely give this video a big thumbs up, share with others, and subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this family. And like I said before, I'm going to have other videos on my link to the cards above that you can check out after this one. I can't wait to see you all in my next video, and I hope you all have a good one until then. Bye!